Ashram gives you inner space and outer space, both. In ashram, you are not asked to renounce. Because the monasteries have become many, people have started associating the concept of monastery and ashram together, confused and made the whole thing mess. The very idea ashram, people start thinking, oh, I have to give up everything. So many are afraid. They are telling, oh, these young people, they are all becoming ashramite, what is happening? Somebody asked me, in India, one elderly gentleman, he came and asked me, with a very sympathetic way, in this young age, you have become a Swami. As if I lost everything. Then I told him, even in this old age, you don't have sense to come out. You don't have sense to escape. I said, only I have to be sympathetic towards you, not you to me. We have a wrong concept about ashram. And I told him, only I have to be sympathetic towards you, not you to me. And I told him, look at my smile. I am so happy, but I can seeing your face. Anyhow, ashram is not monastery. Ashram is a place where you live with the best of the outer world and best of the inner world, with the blessing or the presence of the enlightened master. People ask me, Swamiji, should we renounce everything? Only then can we become enlightened. Tell them, no. Just renounce what you don't have, that's enough. You don't have to renounce what you have. Just renounce what you don't have. There are so many things you don't have, but with which you are living. You don't have, but with which you are mentally living. There are so many things in your life you don't have physically, but mentally you are living with that. Just drop what you don't have. Then you will start living with what you have intensely. Living with what you have intensely is what I call spiritual life. That is what I call living like God. Just live with existence. Live with reality. That word Brahmacharya should be translated properly. Brahma means existence, reality. Charya means living like. Brahmacharya means living like God. Living with existence. Living with existence. Just live intensely with what you have. Then naturally you will never hanker for what you don't have. And when you start living with what you have, your life will become automatically spiritual life. Ashram means a place where people have the best things of the outer world and best things of the inner world and the presence of the master. Usually, we need to understand that word home. Let me explain that word home, then I will express the idea which I want to tell. Home means a place where you feel homely, where you are with yourself, where you are accepted as you are, where you exist as you are. But as on now, whatever we think as our home is not our home. Please be very clear. You may ask why. Even inside your home, the society is driving you. You are not at home. You may be sitting in your home, in your house. You may be sitting in your house, but never think you are at home. House is different, home is different. House can be built just by a contract. Give a contract to somebody, he will build a house. But a home can be built only by a contact, by a proper, good contact. And contract is different. House is different and home is different. If you feel homely, you are at home. If you feel lonely, you are in house. Be very clear. You may be sitting in your house, but you are continuously being driven by society. You may be lying in your bed, but you can't rest deeply. You can't sleep deeply. You can't relax completely. Why? The society is driving you. You want this, you want that. The neighbor house, if they put AC, your house temperature will increase. We want this, we want that. Continuously society is in you. We don't know what is home. All we know is just running, and suddenly drop and go over. Whole thing is just running. What for? Nobody knows. What for? No, neither people know, nor they care to know. We don't even think. A man who feels completely at ease within himself, only we can say he is homely. Only he can say he is at home. The ashram or the spiritual community is the place where you are at home. You are completely there as you are, where society is not driving you, where the rat race is not happening. See, it's a very strange but a nice coincidence. The psychologists who wanted to study the behaviors of human beings, continuously they do research only on rat. Who want to understand the behaviors of human beings, they are continuously doing research on rats. I always tell people, even if you win the rat race, the worst problem in the rat race is, even if you win, you are a rat. We are all in the rat race. At least once in a while, you should relax and be in home to rejuvenate yourself. This is the place. Spiritual community is the place where you will feel at home, where society will not be driving you mad. People who say enough, a deep capital letter clear no for the society. People who are clear, people who are intelligent enough to say a clear capital letter no to society, only they enter into the ashram life. They say clearly enough. Now hereby we decide our life will be to experience our consciousness. Our life will be to enter into our space. We ran enough. What for? Neither we know nor they know. One 14-year-old boy was brought to me. The mother brought him and she has got a complaint. She says, Swamiji, please advise him, he is not listening to me. And she brought him and she says, this guy is not listening to me, please advise him. I was a little reluctant because I myself never obeyed my mother. How can I advise? And I was a little reluctant. I said, Arey, what is this? Anyhow, she started telling, no, you have to advise him. You have to tell him something. I called that boy very politely and I started talking. Oh, why don't you start listening to her? You see, I myself listen to her. I myself listen to her. Why don't you listen to her? You will be surprised. He says, what Swamiji? She herself is not happy. If I listen to all her advices, what will happen to my life? I was shocked. Truth. The question which that guy is asking, that boy is asking, is the truth. What she is teaching me, how will it lead me to happiness? What will happen to my life? Truth. Somehow I convinced that boy, but I am not convinced. Because no other way I have convinced him by giving some answer. But I am not convinced. What she asked is truth. No other way. Complete truth. What the guy says, what the boy says, truth. And somehow I managed. I even forgot how I managed the situation. But the truth, we don't know where we are going. The people who are guiding you, they are not happy. Or your ideals, or the figures behind whom you are running, they are also not happy. They are still running behind somebody else. You see, if there is a standing goal, you can reach that goal. For example, that wall is there. Your goal is to touch that wall. Then you can naturally run. Today or tomorrow you can touch that wall. Suddenly, start imagining that wall also is running. That wall is also running. Will you be able to go and catch your goal? No. We are all running behind goals, which is running, which is not solid. We are running behind just emptiness. We don't even know. The man who realizes, who has got enough intelligence to understand what is happening in my life, what am I doing, is this really I want? The moment you start questioning, the moment you start asking, you enter into the ashram. Be very clear, entering into the ashram means entering into your inner space. Entering into your inner space. You decide very clearly, from today I'll live my life only for my inner space and outer space. Please be very clear. People always put the next question. Is it not selfish? Is it not selfishness? Are we not committed to our family? Are we not committed to our society? Be very clear. All my ashramites are family. They are couples. They are neither renouncing their spouses nor renouncing their kids. They are doing everything. This is one side. Other side, start really honestly analyzing. Start analyzing honestly. How many of us are really serving our family? Let us start analyzing honestly. Be very clear. As long as the other person listens, obeys, follows your ideas, our love, our service, our care, everything will be extended. The moment that person starts living with his own ideas, what happens to all your love, all your selfless service, all our care, all our everything, that big words which we are using, what happens? Nothing. There is a beautiful sloka in Upanishad. Wife loves husband because he listens or lives as she wants. Husband loves the wife because she lives and expresses herself as he wants. So all our life, our whole life is an understanding. Is an understanding. Usually our normal life is just, I can say, even though it is a little strong, it's a truth. Completely, if you see deeply, our normal regular life is just game. How that Krishna is running his chariot, how he is driving all the horses. Same way, you try to drive the other person. The basic thing. Women are always centered on fear, insecurity. Men are always centered on lust. Each one is exploiting the other just based on this one point. Always this man is trying to make her do what he wants to do with that one point of insecurity. With one point of insecurity. The woman, she knows where the point is, and she will make you do everything with that one point. The life as such is just trying to squeeze maximum from the other person. When I say the ashram life, I mean both of you decide from today we'll stop squeezing the others. From today I'll help all my best to make you feel fulfilled. The man commits, I'll give you a deep secure feeling. Women commits, I'll give you the deep fulfillment in the life. The whole thing takes turn. The whole attitude takes turn. The normal regular life, both of them try to get maximum out of the other person. In the spiritual life, when you take the life of the ashramite or a spiritual life, the whole thing turns in a different way. Here, you start deciding you are a being who has come to this planet Earth with some karma, with some fear. I am a being who has come to this planet Earth with some desire. So both of us will help each other to go beyond these emotions. We will not exploit each other based on our weakness. Knowing the other person's weakness. Knowing the other person's weakness and exploiting the other person is what is our regular life. When you enter into the spiritual life, when you enter into the ashram life, you don't renounce your spouse, but you renounce your attitude towards your spouse. The attitude towards your spouse is renounced. The attitude with which we are living, that is renounced. That is what I call ashram life. When you enter into the ashram, you don't renounce your wife or husband, but your attitude towards them. The attitude which you had towards them. That is what makes. The attitude is just a small difference, but it makes very big difference in the life. Ashram means a place where you have the best things of the outer world and best things of the inner world. Above all, the Master's presence. So here, today, group of seekers, committed seekers, have started their journey with the divine blessings to progress in their path of eternal bliss, Nityananda. Let's all pray to the divine and give them our best wishes for their success in their journey. And above all, this place will be a spiritual home for all of you. Any time, at any time, please be very clear. We are not going to have working hours, because 24 hours plus that 15 minutes. Now let us, they have discovered, a day is not just 24 hours. There are few more minutes. 24 hours plus that few more minutes will be working for us. Working hours for us. 24/7. It will be working hours for us. So all of you are welcome to our spiritual home at any time.